On News 5 Live, sadness and outrage as a promising student killed while buying bread. Possible cartel killing of Belizeans in Chetumal, and the Prime Minister says, "I will do what needs to be done about crime." Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
We have been a partner with SMART for over 10 plus years. We have a full SMART plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this SMART service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our SMART service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to SMART because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
SMART continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Have you heard of the new MidDriver app? Let MidDriver get you to your destination safe, fast, and on time. MidDriver is an app for fast and reliable rides that are affordable and available 24/7. There is no more calling drivers, just pin your location you wish to go and drivers will respond within seconds. Whether you're traveling alone or with a group to the supermarket, a friend's house, a party, or wherever, there is a MidDriver driver waiting for you. Download our app and take your trip today.
This Monday on Get the Facts. Why do people with pre-existing health conditions have an increased risk of contracting COVID and becoming fatally ill? And as we celebrate Wellness Week, we take a look at the importance of well-being during the pandemic. Get the Facts features Deputy Regional Health Manager for the Central Health Region, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, Focal Point for NCD and PAHO Belize, Dr. Jorge Polanco, Technical Advisor for HECOPAB, Kathleen Cho, and nutritionist from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Robin Daly. The show starts at 7:30 p.m. on Monday, September 27th. Catch it live on Channel 5 or streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Send your questions to 672-5555 or via Facebook using hashtag #GetTheFacts.
evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Monday, September 27th. I am Sabrina Daly. He was a son, a student, a friendly young man who never got in trouble and just wanted to play basketball. One glance at his picture or a moment listening to him deliver an SJC speech via Facebook, and we instantly recognized Dwayne Gabourel as one of our own. His death, like 7 other minors before him in recent weeks, is causing an outpouring of national grief and recriminations. Isani Kayatana reports on the latest inexplicable, senseless loss of a beloved Belizean boy.
My baby me innocent. My baby no know what the gang. My baby look at me, I 15 years old. 15 years old and he say, Mommy, I want to be a basketball player. She in a 3rd farm. He in a 3rd farm, not SJC. One of Belize's top college.
Another teenager is dead, the 8th minor to be killed in a relentless spate of gun violence that continues to grip the country. 15-year-old Dwayne Gabourel is the latest victim of a ruthless attack inside a grocery store on Saturday evening that snuffed his young life.
My Belizean people, let's work together for a better Belize and stay safe.
His dreams of being an athlete are dashed and his killer remains on the loose.
Yeah, it happened about 10 past. Saturday evening, he made a play ball and he rushed upstairs to me and he tell me, he said, Mommy, he said, you want to go buy pot bread or you want meat? I tell her, no, baby, buy the bread. He grabbed the $5 and he raced down the step because he like run and he gone a shot. I usually stand up on the veranda there and wait. I hear the shot. Bang, 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 that is song ring out in my head.
At that moment, Rondina Almendares told her 2 daughters to take cover, not knowing that her son was the target of a gunman who entered Marlette's grocery with the sole purpose of carrying out a gangland execution. By all accounts, Dwayne Gabourel was never involved in gang activity.
Dwayne Gabourel, as you would know, is not a gang member. He had not one iota of gang affiliation. Not even his family members are involved in gang. And so certainly, he did not deserve to die the way he did.
Surveillance footage of what transpired inside the store shows Gabourel standing at the counter, making a purchase when another individual approaches him from behind, takes aim with a firearm and pulls the trigger.
I wish I may say our need. I wish I may say our need. I said, baby, go buy the bread. And he humble and obedient because he life.
Despite being rushed to the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital for emergency medical attention, Gabriel's prognosis was grim. His mother describes the scene as well as her immediate response to what she encountered.
Drag my baby. I drag my baby. Helpless body. Helplessly body. I drag. And when I drag her, I fight it and I put her in the back of the truck and I get in. And I sit down and I hold on to your pants. One spell, no breathing, and I holler at her and I say, "Pow! Breathe for me!" It do. And the policeman say, "Yes, mommy, no stop."
This morning, after being hospitalized for 2 nights, Dwayne succumbed to injuries he sustained during the armed assault. While he may not have been associated with any of the gangs on his side of the city, the neighborhood in which he lives is known for a standing rivalry with Majestic Alley. Over the years, that bitter enmity has also claimed several lives.
I could just imagine what the parents and family members of young Dwayne Gabourel may be going through. But I do believe that as a nation, we need to get together and we need to pray and see what we can collectively do together to address the scourge of crime within our communities.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isane Cayetano.
The senseless murder of Dwayne Gabourel has incensed the Belizean community, prompting the Belize Police Department to take additional measures in addressing the pervasive gang violence that has taken hold of Belize City. While the Commissioner of Police did not disclose those measures, he gave his word that all resources will be expended in solving the murder of the teenager.
I want to assure her that we will do what we can to find the perpetrator and to bring him to justice. There's a lot that we'll be doing operationally to address the gang problem in Belize City. And I know it is not going to be easy because we do have attorneys out there who monitors everything the police do. And as we do something that they believe is a violation of their clients' human rights, we are sued. And the government is made to pay, just to highlight some of what will be done over the next few weeks. Without divulging our operational strategy. We have a number of these gang members who have cases before the court. In some cases, we believe that the cases against them is very, very strong. They have good evidence. I will task our prosecution director, Ms. Alifa Errington, along with my legal office or my legal team, to look at these cases, and we're going to fast track some of those prosecutions against those gang members. The cadre of lawyers we have at police headquarters will also be deployed to prosecute some of these cases.
Prime Minister John Briceño returned to Belize on Saturday, following a trip to New York where he addressed the United Nations General Assembly on a range of issues, including climate change as well as the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. We will have more from his UN speech elsewhere in the newscast. This afternoon, however, the PM addressed the nation in a recorded statement on the relentless gang violence that has claimed the lives of many in Belize City.
The tragic shooting of young Dwayne Gabourel once again has our nation saddened and outraged. As a Belizean society, we have suffered too much at the hands of gang leaders and their surrogates, who for more than 2 decades have terrorized and plagued our once peaceful communities in Belize City and in the past 10 years, all urban areas across our country. Already this year, 26 persons have died because of gang violence. Less than 500 gang members have been terrorizing neighborhoods and communities, particularly in the south side of Belize City. Gang violence is festering in part because of what has become a careless culture of silence and hopelessness, especially in our poor and vulnerable communities. The violence has to stop. The terror on these communities must end. While no law or set of laws alone will end the fear and senseless violence, it is clear that immediate action is needed. My instruction to the Minister of Home Affairs and to the members of the police department is that now is the time to use all necessary resources to save our children, our communities, and our country from the senseless killings. In this regard, I have asked Minister Musa and the Commissioner of Police to provide as much information to the public and to reach out to everyone to join our efforts to combat the crime and violence and to get the gangs off the streets.
The St. John's College community is reeling from the death of young Dwayne Gabourel, even as they are still coming to terms with the mid-August attack on a fellow schoolmate, 15-year-old Casman Gill, who was also shot during an armed attack on Magazine Road. Gill, who was preparing to enter third form, is still hospitalized at the KHMH, where his recovery has been slow. In the wake of these tragedies, SJC President Mirtha Peralta has come forward to condemn the violence that has befallen the high school. Likewise, Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner strongly criticizes the senseless act of gang-related incidents.
This is a sad day for St. John's College as we lose yet another student to gun violence. We want to extend our deepest sympathies and condolences to the family of Dwayne Gabourel, who was 15 years old and a third form student in the business department here at St. John's College High School. It is with deep regret that we condemn the violence that is happening in Belize, and we are very aware that it is a part of a larger societal problem here in Belize, and the government needs to do something about it. It is important that programs are instituted, implemented to be able to address these issues that are affecting our youth. And especially for us, our boys, since we are the only all-boys institution in this country. It is important that we implement programs, for example, programs for the youth to be able to address teenage parents that possibly need assistance in helping to upbring young men.
As a leader, you never want to see any young aspiring leader, because this young man clearly has a bright future ahead. Attending high school, bright, with a future ahead of him. To see him being senselessly murdered, I have no sort of what you would call in respect to the person who did this or the perpetrators who did this. It's an act of terrorism, and our communities have been faced with this sort of behavior for some time now. And so leadership requires that you make the tough decisions. You can never no longer brand this as gang warfare. It's terrorism, right? And you have to put in place as leaders a plan that captures and a plan that addresses terrorism. And so, in my view, I mourn with the family because I have young children and I have a whole city of young children. I consider all the children in my city as my children. And I never want to see the next child murdered. It has to stop.
This morning, a group of individuals from the Lake Independence area came out condemning the recent killings of innocent young persons, including the most recent shooting death of 15-year-old Dwayne Gabourel. These men, who are known to have run-ins with the law for the alleged involvement in gangs, say that the gun-wielding youths of today have no respect and the killing of young people cannot be condoned.
We never ever do that enough for we young enough for we older guys history, right? So the younger guys then where they come now, and that make the thing difficult because then the people then when you want to get hurt and always have a protection over themselves and watch over themselves, so it's harder for you to catch an individual. If you hurt an individual and you know if you get hurt, that's the easiest thing to do. Because the individual I never expect that they get hurt because they don't have no relationship with no kind of affiliation in nothing.
I think the individual whether they're shooting a simple shooting there with their young man, they're stupid. If they get penalized for that. Because we don't condone that. First thing, I never ever mess with a child. I 36 like what I tell you now. I try to make a picnic. I love kids. Understand me? I always have kids around me and they think I always treat them because I love kids. I don't have no kids, I love kids. So I never condole, I never ever watch that. That the chance they leave boy, the chance they leave picnic. Understand me? And I get tired of that. I really get tired of this. That's why I beg to all the so-called gang members, they call themselves gang members, man, please lift the picnic out of this.
I don't mess up in my life. You understand me? I know that for any time. I try to get scholarship for some money. I try to make them go to school. I'm teaching this another way. Because we mess up. All we already have done all. After they turn now. After they came and leave picnic, man, come on. I got 3 sons. That born me.
Regional Commander of the Eastern Division, Dr. Richard Rosado, also confirmed that the group responsible for the killing of Gabourel was not a part of the recent truce brokered last week between PIV and BLC. Nevertheless, there are increased patrols across the city, and those who are perpetrating crimes will be dealt with.
We have increased the police visibility in those areas. We have launched targeted operations in the affected areas, and those individuals or those criminal-minded individuals who are hell-bent on committing violence, we will go after them, and we will go after them hard. Those individuals who want to turn their life around, we will extend a hand and see how best we can provide the necessary support system. We are also working with the community to stem the violence. We are working in unison with the Behavior Modification Center, the Leadership Intervention Unit, and the Department of Youth Services, and many other stakeholders to see how we can address the gang violence as a collaborative effort.
Coming up, did Mexican cartel kill Belizeans in Chetumal? What we know so far when we come back.
Following the COVID-19 vaccination, some people may experience side effects such as soreness at the injection site, chills, nausea, body aches, or a fever. But these symptoms go away after a few days. These side effects are a result of your immune system responding to the vaccine and are not a sign that you are sick with COVID-19. The COVID-19 vaccines will not give you COVID. When you receive your vaccine, the health worker will advise you what to take if you are experiencing any of these side effects. Remember, these mild side effects cannot compare to you not being able to share memorable moments with your family and friends if you fall gravely ill from COVID. Vaccines bring us closer.
Having an evacuation route is crucial to your family's safety. Be sure to contact the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, to locate the shelter nearest you. Identify the safest route to get there and leave early. Check if your local shelters allow animals and family pets, and make arrangements ahead of time if they do not. RF&G Insurance Company Limited, where it pays to get it right.
This year, Wellness Week will be celebrated September 27 to October 1st. This annual event, celebrated in collaboration with PAHO, CARFA, and SICA, is an important reminder of the powerful impact which our personal habits and daily actions can have on our health and well-being. Therefore, we are taking this opportunity to focus on occupational health and well-being in times of COVID-19. The uncertainty around COVID-19 has created understandable fear and frustration among employees, particularly our frontline workers. This week's activities are a call for organizations to strengthen support mechanisms and foster well-being to help prevent stress and create positive working environments. Poor working conditions, along with inadequate social support systems, negatively impact workplaces on various levels, such as the personnel, the organization, and the productive economy. Much improvement in health needs to be done across all sectors. Globally, poor diet, physical inactivity, alcohol, and tobacco use continue to put people at increased risk of chronic illnesses such as cancers, heart diseases, diabetes, and lung disease. Belizeans face nutritional problems including high intake of fatty, sugary, and salty foods, unbalanced diets, low fruit and vegetable consumption, among other poor food choices. At the beginning of the pandemic, 60% of hospitalized cases for COVID-19 had obesity as a comorbidity, and the situation has not improved since then. People with high blood pressure, especially if older, are more likely to develop severe symptoms of COVID-19 than those without that underlying condition. Ultimately, health and wellness is a shared responsibility. If we help ourselves by exercising, eating healthier, taking needed breaks to alleviate stress, then we can more effectively help each other. By doing this, we can help to make our personal lives healthier, our work lives more productive, and our collective well-being all that much stronger. A safe and happy Wellness Week to all.
Digi has the best mobile prepaid offers that gives you more value for your money. So if you're still with the other guys, now is the time to switch. Trade in your SIM from the other provider and get a free 4G LTE SIM plus $10 bonus credit and 1 GB of data. And if bundling is your thing, we've got you covered. Enjoy data talk and text for as low as $3. Get more value for your money by enjoying calls and texts to your friends from the other provider using your all-in-one allowances. Visit us online for details on these and all other unbeatable September offers at www.livedigi.com. The National Telecom, celebrating Belize at 40 all September long.
And our Instagram page, Mayan World
There is another murder to report. Up north in Corozal town, a brazen gunman approached and executed Aldo Kowa in front of his family. The deceased was reportedly in front of his house with family members in the Biza layout area when the gunman came out of the bushes and fired the fatal blast from a shotgun. Communications Director Yearwood of the Belize Police Department says that Kowa was the intended target and that officers are gathering statements to advance the investigation. On Informati Corozal today, Kowa's mother recounted the heart-wrenching ordeal.
Solo me quedo viendo hacia un lado de su ojo. Se cayó. Me quedo viendo. No tardó cuando el hombre paró ahí. Quedó viendo y quedó viendo al niño. Él gritó. Yo lo agarré porque yo pensé que me iba a tirar. Pero como que se asustó. Le digo, mataste a mi hijo, le digo. Solo quedó viendo y se fue.
Aldo Leodan Kowa, 28 years, was seated with his mother and a 5-year-old child. They were in a conversation when a lone gunman came out of some bushes behind their house, fired a single shot behind Aldo Kowa that caught him in the head. Kowa apparently died on the spot. He was transported to the Corozal Hospital or Northern Regional, the Corozal Community, where he was pronounced dead and now awaits a post-mortem. This person was described to the police to a certain extent. We're hoping that based on that description, police would be able to detain the culprit behind this one, the orchestrator of this crime, and hopefully we would be able to bring some closure to that family.
Let's start noting in that shooting.
One, he was just in a casual conversation with his mother. The person didn't say a word that attacked him, because clearly he was the intended target. And we understand that it was from a shotgun, not a handgun. So clearly it was someone that had some sort of issue with the deceased, no?
Police are waiting for further confirmation of reports that 2 Belizeans have been killed in Chetumal, Mexico. Over the weekend, information surfaced that the men, one from San Pedro and the other from Corozal town, had traveled to neighboring Mexico, but were robbed and executed. Their names will not be disclosed at this time as authorities in Mexico are still trying to confirm their identities. Today, Compol Chester Williams told the media that he is aware of the incident and is waiting for that official statement.
We have received rumors, and I have to say rumors because we have not gotten anything official, that there may have been 2 Belizeans who went over to Chetumal to sell some drugs, and apparently the cartels in Chetumal may have murdered them and put them in a barrel. That is rumors that we're getting. At this time, we cannot confirm or deny the information, but that is just what we're getting. Today, I'm not going to reveal the names as yet because we don't know if it's true. Today we will liaison with our Mexican counterparts as well as through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to see if in fact it is so, and if we can get some official words from Mexico, then we're going through the process of informing the family members and then the public.
Will Senior Police Officer Assistant Superintendent of Police Santiago Pat be charged in connection with the death of a BDF soldier in Dangriga? On Sunday afternoon, Gales Point resident and BDF soldier Carl Tillett was traveling on a motorcycle when he collided into an SUV driven by ASP Pat. According to Pat, at the time was with Sergeant Holly Vasquez till it sustained head injuries and was rushed to the hospital, but died while receiving treatment. The senior police officer has been served with a notice of intended prosecution, pending the outcome of the investigation.
There was a traffic accident that involved Assistant Superintendent of Police Pat. He was driving somewhere around George Price Drive in his personal vehicle accompanied by a sergeant of police when the victim in this accident was driving a motorbike, collided into the passenger side of Mr. Pat's vehicle, received head injuries, was transported to the Southern Regional where he succumbed to his injuries. Mr. Pat have fully cooperated, has been served with a notice of intended prosecution, and he voluntarily gave his urine and blood sample. That's it as far as we have for now. I know that this morning the officers will read what they have put together so far in regards of statements, and we will see whether or not any charges or when charges would be levied against Mr. Pat. No?
So the officers were on duty?
Well, Dwayne, technically we are deemed to be on duty 24 hours. But like I mentioned, it was in his personal Chevy Trailblazer, and as a commander in a district, we must be on duty at all times. Official duty would be a difference.
Sir, is there anything to suggest that the officers may have been under the influence?
Well,
that is a report that we're getting.
I wouldn't be able to answer that question because, like I explained, he gave urine and blood sample right away to the investigators. That would be sent to the lab, and then we would know definitely whether that was a factor.
Following the shooting of Dwayne Gabourel on Saturday evening, shots rang out in the vicinity of Madam Liz Avenue off Faubers Road in Southside Belize City. Alex Faber and Paul Budd were targeted by a gunman around 6:25 p.m. The investigation so far has revealed that the shooting is a result of infighting among a group in the area.
The perpetrator apparently caught them while they were in a conversation, opened fire at them, and we are very fortunate that their injuries were not life-threatening.
Is there any information as to what led to that shooting?
Well, our investigators have gathered so far that there might be an ongoing dispute amongst members of that entire area, people that know each other. And these are the difficult ones to investigate because nobody wants to tell what's the real reason for their attacks, because obviously cooperation is not at its highest. So our investigators have our work cut out for us, but it's not something that we will leave unattended, because in that area we have law-abiding citizens that are not too comfortable with hearing gunshots ringing out so close to their homes. No? So hopefully we will get to the bottom of this one and try to make some arrests in that area also.
According to ASP Yearwood, both men were grazed and have since been treated and released from the hospital. Police are officially speaking on the shooting incident on Simon Lamb Street last Thursday, in which 3 persons were injured. Kareem Young, Emmanuel Wesby, and Cameron Briseño were shot when a gunman in a red car opened fire in the area. Staff from Chonsan Palace on Kelly Street quickly responded to rush the victims to the KHMH. Today, Communications Director Fitzroy Yearwood shared the official details.
These persons were walking on Freetown Road when the gunman opened fire on them. Luckily, they ran towards the direction of Kelly Street, where they were assisted by persons that were making purchase at an establishment in that area. Our investigators are following several leads. We have canvassed that area for surveillance videos, and hopefully we will be able to make an arrest soon.
Sir, has the police been able to identify who was the intended target in that shooting? Was it one of the victims?
Well, Dwayne, that would be very difficult at this time because we have victims from different walks of life, different areas. So for us to say that anyone out of those three or was the intended target, it wouldn't be fair at this time.
After the break, she was at the KHMH when it first opened, and now she's heading back as CEO. Find out what Chandra Cancino has planned for the hospital when she takes the reign. But first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
High school students, you could win a laptop on cash for you and your school with Belize Electricity Limited's High School Essay Competition. Explain in your own words my vision for the future of energy in Belize. Essay should be 600 to 800 words and submitted by email to essay@bel.com.bz by Thursday, September 30th, 2021. 12 prizes will be awarded to first, second, and third place winners in each form. First place wins a laptop and $2,000 plus $3,000 for your school. Second place wins a laptop and $1,000. Third place wins a laptop and $500. Follow BEL's Facebook page for more. Belize Electricity Limited's High School Essay Competition. My vision for the future of energy in Belize.
The Statistical Institute of Belize is responsible for conducting the National Population and Housing Census every 10 years. While the next one is scheduled for 2022, the Statistical Institute of Belize is already recruiting to fill positions for interviewers, field supervisors, drivers, editor coders, administrative assistants, and IT technicians. These temporary positions for the 2022 census offer competitive wages that are paid weekly. Join the 2022 census team. Applying online is easy. Visit our website at sib.org.bz/census recruitment and click apply. The Statistical Institute of Belize, providing Belize with quality, objective, and timely information.
What can't be seen but protects us from the sun? It's key for our survival. Plants, animals, everyone. For many years, we didn't realize our fridges and hairstyles were harming it. But 35 years ago, we started fighting to protect it. We're talking about the ozone layer, the huge hole we created, and the Montreal Protocol that was put in place to fix it. We've achieved so much through this global treaty. Phasing out ozone-depleting substances was a successful remedy, but some replacement substances are just as harmful to our climate as before and more. So we had to find new solutions to which we all needed to commit. The Kigali Amendment asks countries to phase down some of these. Coolant gases called hydrofluorocarbons, better known as HFCs. While they don't harm the ozone layer, they're powerful GHGs. This amendment is also pushing us to innovate in the cooling sector, building more efficient, affordable systems, making refrigeration better. This in turn is helping us reduce food loss and waste everywhere, creating food systems that are stronger, with more food to be shared. And in the midst of a global pandemic, a tough and deadly fight, these cold systems are playing a role in advancing our global fight by keeping vaccines between 2 to 8 degrees as they travel across the globe. They're protecting people from the virus and helping to bring hope. The Montreal Protocol is so much more than ozone protecting rules. It's also about finding sustainable ways to keep us, our food, and vaccines cool.
On May 6, 2018, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, which is bleeding on the brain. When it happened, I went straight into a coma straight away. I flew out via air ambulance to Galenia Hospital. A week or two after waking up out the coma, I started doing therapy. They had me do therapy straight away. And I'm grateful for that because that is what made me start moving and walking again, and I got back to being normal. When I went back, I did a new CT scan, and the CT scan results showed no blood, no clot, no fluid on the brain, so I didn't require the surgery again. But I had 24-hour nurse service by my side to make sure that everything is okay with me. After I came back to Belize, they still reached out to me, asking me if everything is fine and how I'm doing, and making sure that if I have any issues I can always go back, and I just keep contact with them. And I'm very grateful to all the doctors and nurses at Galenia for their hard work and dedication. They're the ones that have me here today.
Bringing people together has always been SMART's mission and passion. That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. SMART has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the SMART family, where the value for your dollar matters. SMART will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. SMART, bringing people together.
She is well known as the General Manager for Corporate Customer Relations Services at the Social Security Board. But over the weekend, the news broke that Chandra Nisbet Cancino has been chosen as the new CEO of the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital. Her appointment comes just days after the previous choice of Dr. Michael Tewes was met with such a strong backlash, the offer was rescinded. But some would say that Cancino was made for the job. She's a registered nurse with extensive experience in administration. She also has a history with the National Referral Hospital.
I am honored to be the newest member of the KHMH team. Yes, indeed, I have my navel string buried at Carl Huchner. My professional navel string. I was there in the first shift in 1995 when we moved from the old Belize City Hospital to the KHMH. And so I've been there from day one, and I was happy to sit on the board in 2013, 2014, 2015. And now I have an opportunity to make a positive difference. When I saw the vacancy, I said, well, I meet the qualifying conditions, and I applied, and thankfully here I am today. Part of my role is to work with the KHMH, the Board of Governors of the KHMHA. I have absolutely no say whatsoever into who sits on the board or who. I mean, my function is strictly to be able to work with anyone that sits on the board of KHMHA. And so that is precisely what I am going to do, regardless of who those persons are. In regards to the union's representation, I think it's very important to have you know, the unions at the table at the point of decision making. I think it helps to improve that communication between the management and the broader staff. They really represent a large percentage of the workers at Carl Huchner, and so I think that I see that particular move as something positive.
On the heels of the announcement of Cancino's selection, today the Ministry of Health and Wellness outlined some additional changes. CEO Dr. Daisy Mendez has been replaced by Dr. Julio Sabito as the Ministry of Health and Wellness representative on the Board of Governors. Dr. David Hoy and Francis Shabat have tendered their resignations and will be replaced by Dr. Fernando Cuellar and Daisy Codd. The laws governing the institution will also be amended to allow for the KHMH HA Workers Union to have a seat on the board. While congratulating Cancino on her appointment, the ministry thanks Tim Segura for holding over as interim CEO for the KHMH. As incoming CEO, Cancino says that there are many priorities at the KHMH. In the short term, the COVID-19 pandemic, but then there must be a shift in services it offers and in public perception, which often has a negative view of the National Referral Hospital.
The COVID situation, the numbers don't seem to be going down, you know, as we would like to see them. And so we have short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals for the KHMH. And of course, the short-term is to get through the pandemic, to be able to support staff as much as possible, ensure their safety and security, so that we can therefore ensure the patient's safety and security. So I would think that that is the priority in the short term. And then in the medium term, to conduct a comprehensive assessment of where KHMH has a lot of great things happening there. And so it's really to just conduct a comprehensive assessment along with this present board and look at where the priorities will be for the medium term. We see them primarily being in improving customer service. Might not be a word that we're used to hearing when it comes to a hospital, but we really need to improve customer service. We need to improve areas where persons can have access to air their concerns, air their complaints. It includes, you know, assessing current policies, reviewing policies, you know, looking at our human resource organizational structure. I think we will really conduct a comprehensive review of where we are, stick with the things that are working well and fix the things that are not.
Small island developing states, SIDS, like Belize, are often considered ineligible for international concessional financing. In his address at the United Nations General Assembly on Friday, Prime Minister John Bersenio pointed out that small developing states are faced with structural vulnerabilities and that size, geographic location, market size, and exposure to natural disasters all make them particularly vulnerable to external shocks. Climate change also poses an existential threat to many of these states. Challenges include sea level rise and extreme weather conditions, even though SIDS is responsible for only 1% of greenhouse gas emission. All these considered, PM Bersenio urged the UN General Assembly to implement an alternative for assessing the unique vulnerabilities of SIDS when seeking concessional financing. He recommended the implementation of a multidimensional vulnerability index.
The continued ineligibility of SIDS from accessing concessional finance leaves us in a vicious cycle of disaster or crisis recovery, borrowing leading to unsustainable levels of debt. This must be disrupted. A multidimensional vulnerability index is the indispensable tool for restoring rationality to access affordable financing. We therefore welcome the work of the UN and other development partners, such as the Commonwealth and the Caribbean Development Bank, in developing an MVI that does not only consider economic development, but also the inherent vulnerabilities of SIDS, scale, geography, and limited natural resources. We need to adopt an MVI now. We call upon all international financial institutions and our development partners to use it. There is no alternative if our countries are to embark on a sustainable and resilient economic development plan. If our multilateral system is to remain credible, it must have the capacity to induce action.
Speaking on equity and fairness in global responses, Belize's Prime Minister spoke out against global acts of vaccine hoarding and predatory purchasing. As PM Briceño noted, of the more than 8 billion doses of vaccines that have been administered, 73% have been given in 10 countries alone. He called on the multilateral system to be more effective in protecting the rights of all people.
COVAX, the multilateral mechanism for vaccine distribution, has been unable to truly respond to the needs of its subscribers. The undermining of COVAX through export bans, vaccine hoarding, and predatory purchasing has resulted in extreme inequality of access to vaccines. Of the more than 5.7 billion vaccine doses that have been administered globally, 73% have been given in just 10 countries. COVAX has had to cut its forecast for distribution of vaccines by 25% for 2021. Belize has no delivery date for its next COVAX shipment. As the Director General of the WHO said, the longer vaccine inequality persists, the more the virus will keep circulating and changing. The longer the social and economic disruption will continue and hinder the chances that more variants will emerge that render vaccines less effective.
Siding with the nation of Cuba, during his UN address, Prime Minister Briceño referred to the U.S. embargo against Cuba as illegal, cruel, and inhumane. He says the embargo has been widened under the Biden administration, causing millions of innocent people to suffer.
The persistent call of the General Assembly over 3 decades to end the illegal embargo against the Cuban people has been ignored. The Cuban people are forced to carve out their sustainable development under the burden of the illegal, unilateral economic, commercial, and financial embargo. The new measures imposed by the past U.S. administration are now continued and widened by the present one during a pandemic are unbelievably cruel and inhumane. These measures bring suffering to millions of innocent people and do not reflect the goodwill of the people of the United States of America. Nevertheless, Cuba has made significant sacrifices to help other people in the world, including Belizeans.
PM Briceño also reaffirmed Belize's support on the aspirations of the Palestinians for an independent state with its 1967 borders, with all attendant rights, including East Jerusalem as its capital. Just ahead, you may soon be paying your taxes with your cell phone or tablet. The Belize Tax Services launches Iris online. Find out more after the break. But first, here is a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
This weather update is brought to you by SMART. This weather update was brought to you by SMART.
Macam mayan secret vape gel, good for chest pain, back pain, and joint pain. Maybe good for heart pain too.
Mayan Secret Vapor Gel is a locally produced product that is excellent for deep penetrating relief from muscles, joints, and other body aches. It also offers great relief from cough and cold symptoms.
Patrick! Why? This thing work. Rub up yourself. You need to use it.
Mayan Secret Vapor Gel is available at grocery stores and supermarkets countrywide.
Electricity is an essential part of our daily lives. We use lights and household appliances every day. Therefore, we must ensure our homes are wired properly. At Benny's, we have certified wires with the right gauges and insulation. BEL certified meter sockets, authentic GE and Square D panel boxes and breakers, which protect the wires inside your home from being overloaded. When wiring your home, avoid imitation brands which can be very dangerous. Give yourself and your family peace of mind using genuine electrical products available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Bringing people together has always been SMART's mission and passion. That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. SMART has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the SMART family, where the value for your dollar matters. SMART will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. SMART, bringing people together.
At Belize Diagnostic Center, we offer FDA-approved PCR testing for COVID-19. Get your results as quickly as 1 hour. Don't risk getting exposed to COVID-19 by going elsewhere. We take appointments, or we can come to your home or office using our concierge service with no additional fees. We have 10 locations countrywide. Call or WhatsApp us at 613-TEST. That is 613-8378 to schedule your test today.
Beginning October 4th, Belizean taxpayers will have access to a new online service for paying business taxes, GST, personal income tax, and a host of other taxes. The Integrated Tax Information System, or IRIS, had a soft launch today that was hybrid in format, with both a Facebook component streamed by the government press office and a simultaneous face-to-face session at the Belize Biltmore Plaza. News 5 found out more about what taxpayers can expect with the launch of the new system that promises that once you figure it out, you may never have to go to the physical tax office in Belize again.
Get ready for IRIS Belize! There was a festive atmosphere for today's launch as the Belize Tax Service celebrated the IRIS project. Despite the catchy acronym, the online tax service is serious business and part of a wider effort to improve both the collection of taxes and the efficiency of the BTS.
In November 2019, the government of Belize entered into a $14 million loan agreement with the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, for the financing and execution of the Strengthening of Tax Administration project. The main objective of the project is to contribute to the strengthening tax administration by improving tax administration governance, the operational processes, and the technological infrastructure. It will enable the Belize Tax Services to compile more complete and more accurate data in real time, and therefore assist greatly in the tax administration and in the development of future tax policies. As a result, today we are introducing a modern technological system designed to yield a more effective and efficient service to the taxpayers' community. IRIS Belize is an innovative, high-tech system that has much to offer the taxpayer community than is currently available. We are placing the emphasis on service in the name Belize Tax Service.
Director General Michelle Longsworth spoke about how the Belize Tax Service will phase in the online platform and the help available for taxpayers as they adjust to the new digital system.
The process that we're following is that effective Monday the 4th, large taxpayers, that is taxpayers within that bracket that is considered large, it will be mandatory for them to file and do all the transactions online. The medium, small, and micro will be phased in over a period of time. Why? Because we do realize that in our country, not all our taxpayers have the ability to access the internet or have devices immediately. So we will have lobby service in all our branches countrywide and in our headquarter office in Belize City. There'll be lobby services with our knowledgeable staff who will be guiding them through the process of being able to access the system and to do all their processes online. So that's how we're doing it in a phased approach so that we can accommodate all taxpayers. It is hopeful by 2022 we will have a higher percentage of taxpayers solely using the system and have less interaction face-to-face at our offices. The system allows a taxpayer to access their tax account. What that means is that every taxpayer will have the ability to view their tax account. They'll be able to see everything that they file. They'll be able to see all their payments. They'll be able to see assessment. They'll be able to see everything included in their tax account. So, take for instance, if you pay online, as the video showed you, the tutorial, once you pay online and you're still hesitant, I want to make sure that it actually hit my tax account, you can log on to Iris Belize and you can bring up your account and you will see your payment has been applied to your tax account. Why? The payments that you're making is real time. So there's no delay in waiting to see the payment that you have there.
Longsworth says taxpayers will also be able to track the progress of any pending refunds. She emphasized that all taxpayer and banking information will be housed on secure servers in Belize. While today's launch marks the beginning of what the public will see on IRIS, for those involved in creating the project, it was several years of hard, mostly remote work that involved partners 18 hours ahead in New Zealand. In the end, the discipline paid off.
We set out a schedule that we did everything virtually. Our internet service is excellent in Belize, so that did not stop us. Our officers, some of them that you see here, we all committed that we would be doing this, even if it was after hours or even it was Saturday. All our milestones, all our timelines have been met. To date, this is one of them. And so we have other, as we go into our phase 2 and phase 3, we are still on target with all our timelines.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Carla Husner.
The United Democratic Party celebrates 48 years as a political organization today, despite their inner turmoil that has plagued it since losing the last general elections. While it was a festive day observing the milestone as a unified party, its leadership is still in question. Patrick Fauber is both leader of the opposition as well as party leader. When asked earlier today if he foresees a challenge at the end of his tenure, here's how he responded.
The duration of my term is still at least a year. And the truth is that everybody in any position in this party can be challenged, but especially if it is viewed that they're not working. I intend to work diligently as I have, and I intend to nurture the unity of the party, especially since that is a major factor for us at this time. And I intend to put the building blocks together, the pieces that we so desperately need in order to keep the party strong. And I am convinced that if I do that in the manner in which I believe I can, and I intend to do it, that everybody will understand. And it doesn't mean that somebody might not challenge. It might be, might even be somebody who, well, in order to be the leader, it has to be one of the elected officials. So I don't foresee that happening, and given the kind of
selected.
Well, yes, it has to be from the National Assembly. Right. But at this point, I don't foresee that happening. But you never know. Every day is an eternity in politics, as you know, and I'm not afraid of challenges either, as you know. But I will continue to do the work that I know how to do, so that I am able to focus on building the party rather than worrying about that. That's for us to worry about down the road.
On Friday, the government of Belize announced that it had successfully negotiated with the majority of bondholders. Despite the achievement of the Briceño administration, the opposition still maintains this follows a series of initiatives that were already set in motion by the UDP government. Here's opposition leader Patrick Faber on the success of the Superbond negotiation.
Well, I will praise the Briceño administration for following what the UDP's blueprint was, because all that is transpiring there was already in train from the UDP. So insofar as they have not thrown away the baby with the bathwater and maybe picked up and aggressively pursued what the UDP left there, and we've seen this on many, many fronts, not only with the super bond and the blue bond. We see, in fact, many, many things that were already in train that we see them taking credit for. And so I will only give them credit insofar as they're doing what the UDP blueprint, maybe I shouldn't call it blueprint, the UDP red print.
The Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry has issued a statement lauding the government of Belize for having obtained the buy-in of approximately 84% of the holders of the outstanding Belize US dollar bonds 2034. The Chamber says it is commendable that this figure, which is well above the 75% threshold needed, has been reached well before the November 19, 2021 settlement deadline. The BCCI says it had already expressed its support for innovative blue bond financing strategy, which ultimately represents close to a 12% reduction in Belize's overall national debt. The business organization says its membership stands ready to, quote, collaborate and partner with the government in any effort that serves the greater benefit of the Belizean public and the country's private sector, end quote. Up next, a story for expectant mothers and the people who love them. Find out why having a baby could affect how your body responds to COVID-19. A talk with the experts when we return.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases.
St. John's Credit Union.
Have you ever fallen delinquent on your loan payment? Don't know how to get back on track? Bounce back with St. John's Credit Union. Get 10 to 50% off interest and fee when you pay your arrears in full or make suitable payment arrangements on your account. Members who take advantage of this offer get a chance to enter a raffle to win fabulous prizes. Members are advised that this offer ends September 30th. Some conditions apply.
St. John's Credit Union Limited. Safe saving, smart borrowing.
This can be you. Get vaccinated. The life you save can be yours. This is a message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call on-net, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
In COVID-19 news, a total of 11 pregnant women have died since the beginning of 2021, with the latest death on Friday. Five of those deaths are due to COVID-19. This is compared to 2020, when 2 pregnant women died due to COVID-19 complications, showing just how deadly the Delta variant is. On a slightly positive note, while just over 400 pregnant women have contracted COVID-19 since the onset of the pandemic, most have recovered and had mild symptoms. So what makes pregnant women particularly vulnerable to developing severe symptoms of COVID-19? Dr. Marcela Koyi sought to give an explanation this morning on Open Your Eyes Morning Show.
To begin with, a woman who is pregnant is more at risk. One is that changes in pregnancy. For example, the bigger the pregnancy, the bigger the effect on the diaphragm. So women already normally without COVID, towards the last 3 months have problem to breathe. You know, they get short of breath very easily. Then in pregnancy, it's a slight immunodeficiency, naturally, physiologically. And the reason for that is that at the time of conception, half of the genetic material is foreign to her. It's from the male person. So there are some changes that decreases the immuno-effectiveness because they want to make sure that you don't reject that foreign material from the father. So women already begin with a negative, you know. Now pregnant women don't get it quicker than the non-pregnant. They get it depending on where you are on your risk, right? But if they get it, they then run the same, like everybody, you know, 80% of them are asymptomatic and mild and nothing happened. But when they do get into the severe, the moderate and the severe, that's when we get into trouble, particularly in the third trimester. There they have problems because one is that they already have some respiratory compromise because of the pregnancy, and if you get a pneumonia, the early part or initial part of the COVID-19 infection, it makes it worse, you know. So yes, you know, they do, in the third trimester, there is increased risk to the pregnant woman.
This morning, Open Your Eyes also looked at the fear among some pregnant women about seeking public health care during the pandemic. They may be afraid of contracting COVID-19 during their visit to the doctor for a scheduled checkup. Maternal and Child Health Technician Advisor at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dr. Natalia Baer says public health facilities are adhering to protocols. She says the best protection for pregnant women against the virus is the COVID-19 vaccine. The Ministry of Health has received recommendations that pregnant women be administered the Pfizer vaccine.
Look at the evidence out there related to the provision of vaccines to pregnant women. And the International Federation of Gynecologists and Obstetricians, as well as the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, recommends the vaccination of pregnant women with COVID-19 vaccines. It's true that there was no trial among pregnant women, but there is surveillance systems in place when a woman gets vaccinated and knowing that she's pregnant, then they would follow through with that pregnancy. Or women who got the vaccine and before receiving a second dose, they got pregnant. Shortly after getting the vaccine, those women would be followed through. And the evidence is overwhelming that there is no risk for pregnant women and there is no risk for the unborn child because of the use of the vaccines.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.